introduce our last speaker of the evening, Cody Yoa. Cody is a junior at CI. He is majoring in communications with an emphasis in nonprofit and organization, minoring in computer game design. Cody loves to play video games and do 3D animation, and has a passion for talking to anyone about autism in the community. Cody?
Hello, my name is Cody Yoa, and I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at the age of 5, which is under the autism spectrum. My mother discovered that I had autism when I was 2, so this was before I was diagnosed. So, to give you an idea of what it was like living with autism, I'll describe my life in the last 23 years. To begin with, I didn't have any eye contact. As you can tell, I'm doing a lot better now than what I did when I was a kid. To give you an idea of what it was like having no eye contact, I have a story. When I was a kid, I was taken to a child psychologist, and for a session, I think it was a behavioral therapy session. And we did the whole session, and I went back to my house, and wouldn't you know, I started doing sign language in the alphabet. And this was before my mom even taught me, who had prior experience to sign language. So my mom was being a little bit of an investigator, and discovered that I was actually not focusing on my child psychologist, but a poster right behind her that had the sign language alphabet. So what did they do? They removed the poster, so that way I could actually focus on my child psychologist. This is one of the few stories in which I kind of experienced about being in my puzzle shoes, to say the least. If you were to know me, I'm very, very repetitive. I tend to repeat myself a lot. Whenever it comes to like homework assignments or asking the same thing over and over again. And a lot of people ask me why. And the reason why I ask all these things, or become repetitive to say the least, is because I need to remember things in my head. So I do this over and over again, not just to bother anybody, but just to get stuff in here, this little noggin, to say the least. To give you an idea, the best way of me to actually study is by using flashcards. And by doing so, in my psychology class, I actually learned this thing called chunks. For all you psychology majors out there, well, you kind of get the idea, but for anybody outside of psychology, chunks is basically a terminology used to say that we can remember at least 5 to 9 things. So what did I do? I separated my flashcards, in which have vocabulary words, and I separated into chunks, like into 5s. So that way I would remember stuff for like upcoming tests or even the speech. Which leads to my next major issue that I had in my life, which was reading comprehension. Now, to be honest, I love reading books. I love books I like books that have verbal and textual formats. You know, such as like The Hungry Caterpillar of some sorts. And as I got older, there were less pictures and more words. The problem with that is that I have a hard time visualizing words. To me, words are just that, words. I didn't have, until my English teacher started putting meaning into it, I just lost it. I didn't know what any of the words mean or what they represent. So I was struggling for a bit until I found a solution, which is probably the exact opposite of what people want me to do. I would watch a movie based off of a book, and then read the book. Hear me out. I would watch the movie to see the characters, the worlds, the stories, the situations, and then I would read the book to actually start playing that in my head again. And whenever there was a time where the books said something that the movie didn't state it, then I would just imagine that in my head. And I got better and better to the point where I didn't even need to watch the movie first. But I could just read the book and have a good imagination. Which leads to my biggest challenge of them all, social interaction. Right now, I don't have any trouble with interacting with people, especially with this crowd right here. As a kid, I was basically struggling. In elementary school, I was bullied. I was homeschooled in middle school because of the fear of being bullied, which led to loss of social cues. And I had to basically start all over again in high school. Making friends for me was very tedious and time-consuming, to say the least. But with my mom's help and learning about what to say and what not to say in the conversation, social interactions is one of the easiest things for me to do now. I have made several friends along the way, in high school, in my community college, and here at Channel Islands. In conclusion, autism is challenging, it's tough, but it's one of the greatest achievements I've ever had. I've gotten frustrated, it's hard, I struggle a lot, but autism to me has meant so much. I've done so many achievements with it. Think about it like this. An achievement to someone is like getting like a high school diploma or an associate's or a bachelor's. For me, it's just making a friend. For someone that just got their driver's license, it's like me achieving and just reading a sentence in a book. For someone that is trying to pass a class that they just don't like, it's like me just trying to have a social and successful conversation with somebody. That's what autism is. It's the achievement that you could do anything. And look where I am now. I got an honors in high school. I got my driver's license at the age of 22. I have a beautiful and supportive girlfriend who's always by my side. And I'm not gonna stop until I get my bachelor's degree here at Channel Islands.
Yeah.
And to anyone that has autism, that is struggling, let me tell you this. Out of my whole 20 years of experience of being here on this planet with autism and embracing it, do not give up on what you believe in. There's gonna be people out there that are not gonna believe in you. There's people that are just gonna laugh down at you, maybe insult you. But you know what you do? You stand up and you fight for it. You stand up for what you believe in. And if people don't believe you, well, believe me. I believe in you and I haven't even met you. That's how much faith I have in the autism community. Thank you.
Yeah.